But I had a guy text me the other day and saying, how can he get the Bitcoin ETF? And I said, well, go through this guy, set up a Qtrade account. They'll help you with the whole thing. And he said, I'm in a bit of a tough position because my financial advisor is a longtime friend, a longtime acquaintance, and he's not Bitcoin friendly. He won't entertain the thought at all. He won't help me put some money into Bitcoin. He's just being very restrictive of it. Similar to a bank. It's the exact same thing. With your investments, your financial advisor does not own those investments. They're just looking after it for you, like the bank is looking after your money. And so if somebody is going to tell you that they know better than you do, considering, especially a Bitcoiner who's put in hundreds or thousands of hours of work, of proof of work, to learn Bitcoin, learn the ins and outs, learn how to store it. And on the other side of the table is somebody who's put zero time into that. And they're going to tell you that you can't hold any Bitcoin or have any sort of exposure to Bitcoin. It's the same thing. Just leave. There's millions of banks out there. There's tens of millions of financial advisors out there. And it doesn't matter how long you've known this person for. There's so much at stake right now. Even if it was your brother, even if it was your actual brother and you wanted to buy Bitcoin and your brother was saying, well, probably not the best idea right now. Let's put this into a bond or a GIC. Leave. Find somewhere else, because after I'm going to show you this graph here, and we showed this the other day, but it is the perfect time to do it right now. But after I show you this graph, and you're going to find somebody. Okay, what can I do here? Here it is. So this is the graph, Bitcoin performance compared to major asset classes. So the first thing about this graph or graphic is that this was sent to me by a financial advisor, somebody who's been in the financial industry for the last, 20 years. He sent me this graphic. And so that to me demonstrates that somebody in the prairies here, knows at least one financial advisor who is Bitcoin friendly. Not only Bitcoin friendly, but sending me graphics showing how good Bitcoin is. Those are the people that you want to be associating with right now. Those are the people who are forward thinking enough and logical enough to know best for your money. Not somebody who's ignoring this. So let's look at this. You can see here at the top row is the best performing assets. So in the last 10 years, Bitcoin has been the best performing asset for 8 out of 11 years, last 11 years. 8 out of 11 years, Bitcoin has been the best performing asset. Cumulative, it's up 315,000% in that time. 315,000%. On an annualized basis, every year average, 125% increase. No sane person can look at this graph and tell you to ignore this. No sane person on earth can look at this graph and tell you to ignore this asset. And if you have somebody in your life that's like that, whether that's your banker, your financial advisor, anybody who can't logically see what's happening here, you need to cut them out of your life. If it's your best friend, no, don't do that. But in terms of somebody who has the ability to change your financial direction, cut ties with them immediately. You have to. Like, this isn't a light situation here that we're in. And I don't know how to be more clear over that. Like, this is a big deal that we're living through right now. And the thing about that is that if you look at these, you look at that 315,000% cumulative. The only argument that I could possibly see somebody saying there is that, well, yeah, the growth is already done. So even though that's happened in the last 10 years, 315,000% increase, probably won't happen again next 10 years. So let's stick to something a little bit more safe. But they're not factoring the percentage of people who own Bitcoin. Less than 1% of people on Earth own Bitcoin. And so where do you think it's going to go from here? Do you think that that's the end of it? As the other 99% of people get into Bitcoin, do you think that that's kind of the peak of it? Or do you maybe think that it hasn't even begun yet? And this is just the indicator of what's coming. So that's my bit of a rant for today. I just think that whoever that person is in your life that's trying to stop your growth financially or in your job, anything that you're trying to do, if somebody's trying to block that and tell you that you can't do it, you have to cut them out of your life. It's so important. It's maybe one of the most underrated piece of advice I've ever received, is that you are the average of the people that you hang out with and associate most with. And that's kind of the general theme here, but you have to apply that to every different aspect of your life, in your relationships and in your professional dealings. It's important. We are at a time here in history where we're going to see what's about to unfold in terms of this transition. We're never going to turn on the news, and there's not going to be a news anchor on there saying that, oh, we are now officially on a Bitcoin standard. Hope you got some Bitcoin. No, it's the same with the